I want to just look back on my life and remember more of the positive things, the things I was grateful for, the things that made me happy, the things that made me laugh or smile. Because
Specifically, targeting on those.
because I think I saw a quote about a large difference between happy people and unhappy people are the things that they remember. And what they choose to remember and the stories that they recount to themselves has a lot of impact on that.
Welcome, everyone. We are here in Tabernash, Colorado, up in the Rocky Mountains. This is the ADHD Adulting Fireside Chat, which is a unique opportunity for everyday ADHD adults to connect, share advice, and learn from one another how to thrive with this condition. Tonight's topic, New Year, New You, resolutions, routines, and relapse.
Hey, I'm Alexis, and I have ADD. I work for an environmental organization, and I love the outdoors.
When were you first diagnosed with ADHD?
I think I was around in the first grade, and my folks had an idea that I might have ADD because when I was a kid and in class, sometimes I would just kind of zone out and I'd be daydreaming or I don't know what I'd be thinking about. I think I was lucky and fortunate that I had attentive parents who called in the supports before I really felt the just implications or weight of a struggle later.
What are 3 of your ADHD strengths?
I'm a really good planner, just down to a T, the when, where, how, logistics, managing the things that I need to do. I make a lot of lists and I write things down. ADD, it has a higher co-occurrence of things like auditory processing disorders. I'm less likely to really capture into my short-term memory, and I kind of help with that by writing things down.
So something new that I'm trying, and I'll let you know how it goes. But I have my schedule on my phone. Wait, this is my downtime.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so I have my daily schedule on my unlock screen. So that when I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be right now.
That's brilliant.
That is absolutely brilliant.
I actually do something similar. I have the widget for my calendar, and it shows me like where am I.
So every time she goes to her phone, she's like, oh wait, where am I supposed to be right now?
Why are people blowing my mind at this age?
And not only that, what else have you done?
Never learning.
You printed it out. You printed out, and you laminate it with some tape, and you posted it in 6 different locations around the house.
Yeah.
On the refrigerator, in the bathroom, on your work desk, in the mirror. Because now every time you're in a different location, we have these dead zones. Like everyone has dead zones in their house.
We do.
The shower, the closet, the bathroom, like whatever it is, these spots where you get lost and like time disappears and then like, you don't know where you're at, what you're supposed to be doing.
God, Aaron, you're always teaching me shit. Dead zones. I haven't heard this before. I know exactly
it's like
what
the
those.
Twilight. It's
Yes.
ADHD Twilight Zone.
I like Twilight. No, I like the Twilight Zone. I absolutely know the Twilight Zones in my house. Yeah, where I lose track of time, energy goes nuts. Yeah.
Also put clocks in every room.
Right.
Yeah, clocks everywhere. Yeah.
But just
Externalizing.
last point on this helpful thing, externalization.
Yeah.
We call it, right? Put it somewhere you can see it. Just having a reminder on your phone sometimes works, but sometimes if you have weak self-control, it can be tough. You just dismiss it. Put it somewhere. Put a big whiteboard up somewhere. Put it somewhere that you don't expect. I mean, we habituate to some of those things in our environment. But if you put it in an unexpected place, like I'm gonna put this on the doorknob, I'm gonna put this on the mirror, you have to see it. I know it's not the most elegant design thing, but who cares? Just
we're too old for that.
Do what works.
Yeah.
What does adulting with ADHD look like for you?
I think I've just really come to accept that taking resources, including medication, that's helped me a lot, and I understand better how it affects me when I take it versus don't. So without medication, I'd say that things are just harder. So I like to compare it to on Mount Everest. Like you feel like you weigh multiple of what you do usually. Well, that's what a day without medication, trying to get stuff done, trying to be productive feels like. When I don't take
spinner and you kind of struggling to breathe.
Well, I feel like I'm just so much heavier and it's harder to move. It's harder to keep going. It's harder to get momentum. A challenge that I've found is pinpointing a routine that works all the time. When I've figured out a medicine regimen that works for me, sometimes a handful of months later, it doesn't work anymore because my tolerance changes. It's like my meds sometimes after a handful of months, I'm finding that they're leaving me high and dry for the last few hours of the workday. And that's when I say, okay, well, maybe something like caffeine will help get me to the end of my day, and then I stay up for all the night and something like that. And then that just throws off the next day, which can then make me feel like I'm not productive or not just feel good about me, even though I'm trying my best. I was trying to push through the day before. So it's not out of lack of effort, but it's that the routine is just changing for ways that can't be helped, but it's the constant tweaking of schedules and routines depending on even how long I've been doing them.
Behavioral change and relational.
So something that I think I'm gonna keep that's worked is accountability measures. So something that's worked is getting up and going to the gym when you go to the gym. But then another thing of accountability is with my Spanish goal is that, again, there is the accountability because there's a professor, a tutor who's going to be meeting me at that point. But I think I'm going to move that time of when I'm taking Spanish classes to be it directly after the time that I stop working, because sometimes it's hard at the end of my workday to stay motivated to work up into that time. That's this end of my day.
How long is the gap now between end of workday and Spanish class?
Well,
She's doing it in the morning.
yeah, but I'm going to change it to come directly afterward because...
And it creates a transition point, which is also important for ADHDers, right?
Yeah, because if I'm just okay, I'm going to be at my computer and then I'm going to close out of work and then start my Spanish, then that's kind of already made the decision for me that I'm going to have a productive full day of work. Because that keeps me from saying, well, I think this is time enough. This is a good pausing point as any, and then I wander over and start doing something else. So that just kind of gives me that extra added push to get
You have the next thing, the transition.
Yeah, my day's not over yet.
My day's not over.
And I hear this from my clients too, is sometimes they have a hard time stopping work, right? They continue to work, and then it's it's 8 o'clock and And but if you can set a hard out, I have to meet with my tutor at this time. I have to go to the gym. I have this class. I have something I have to show up for. Then you don't have the choice, right? There's more consequences to avoiding it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's become harder to get to the end of my day, and just because with ADD meds, I'm kind of left high and dry around 2 o'clock. So to just kind of have something toward the end of it, and it's
That you can look forward to.
Yeah, that I can look forward to and further motivates me. And
I like that. I think I might adopt that when I'm doing the ASL and Spanish stuff. End of day.
Because I've had to come up with different kind of ways of adapting so that I'm still experiencing the same outcomes as people who don't have ADD. Just adaptive strategies like sitting in the front of where I'm listening to a presentation so that I don't see all the chit chat going on around or behind me. That way I can stay focused, or things like being able to take notes and write things down. I think that some of the strategies are such as having just a bulletproof schedule of what I'm going to do. I think those things also kind of translate into having a personality that's kind of scrappy at times. So because I've had to find those detours and those other ways of doing things, that when I'm presented with an obstacle, that's not the end all, because I'm going to have to figure out a way around that anyway. So I think that's a way that is a strength.
My resolutions have been I'm going to take one of your language things because I want to be taking Spanish lessons 2 or 3 times a week. Well, yeah. And I think my reason for wanting to do that is that in my work with environmental activism, we work with a lot of the general population, and it's oftentimes that we see environmental injustice where there's more diverse communities that live in the shadows of like industrial polluters. And it's important to be able to reach them and be able to engage them and guide them through public processes for input to change regulations and just things that are affecting them and their health and their livelihood. So I've felt inadequate sometimes when there's been there's been like a language barrier or something, and I said, I'd like to be able to do something about that.
It's so selfless. it's like, yeah, so I want to learn this language so I can like help others. Yeah. Yes, that's like the most selfless personal growth goal. But yeah, I mean, because it also will benefit you. But to tie it directly to the noble work you already do is really.
Oh, it will benefit her on vacation. All the places she likes to go is in the Caribbean and Spanish-speaking locations too. So don't worry about that.
That's the carrot, or should I say like
The cherry on top.
Yeah.
The cherimoya. That's the cherimoya on top. Yeah.
Some of the challenges with ADD can be things like delayed gratification or impulsivity, those things that sometimes just kind of make it harder to plug through. On the flip side of that, because I do have fun-loving, energetic side to that I bring that with me to work, and I think that comes out as just introducing those elements of joy that people do enjoy engaging around, and that makes for some things, some events or some efforts that people want to be a part of.
You've been writing something in journals, right? Like, tell us what you've been doing, because this is a resolution of sorts. Like,
sure. So I want to just look back on my life and remember more of the positive things, the things I was grateful for, the things that made me happy, the things that made me laugh or smile. Because
specifically targeting on those.
Yeah, because I think I saw a quote about a large difference between happy people and unhappy people are the things that they remember, and what they choose to remember in the stories that they recount to themselves has a lot of impact on that. And so
you've been writing into a gratitude journal.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So I've been
just capturing those moments.
Capturing moments, and it asks different questions to kind of help you pull from your day, and it always asks like, what did you learn today? What's a self-affirmation, and what's something that you're grateful for? And then, so it just kind of helps develop that muscle of thinking positively. And because there's some folks who you talk to and they're like, oh, and then there was this worst day of my life, or there is the worst insult that somebody ever told me, like those kind of things.
And they hold on,
and that's what they have. And so learning to hold on to those good things and rehearse those, replay those things in your mind.
Yeah, you've mentioned this before. I mean, years ago you talked about internal locus control, external locus control, but the internal dialogue, the core beliefs, internal core beliefs, right? So this, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is like engineering gratitude-based or positive-based internal core beliefs.
But I think that my radical acceptance is everyone's got their thing that they have to work around. And for me, that's in this area of my life. This is mine. So I'm glad and lucky that I live in a time and age of things like supports and medication and people to connect with similar experiences, because that makes it something that then I just don't get down about, because I'm like, oh, okay, this is a thing that people just have workarounds for.